Good morning, fellow students and teachers. Today, myself, Hamzah Hassan, and my team from grade 11 will be presenting a stop motion animation video for our Global Perspectives team project. Our team includes Kashaf Shahid as Abigail, Areej A as Elizabeth, Muskan Fatima as Mercy, and Maya Eliza as Tituba. The scene starts off with four friends debating about whether the advantages of drugs outweigh its disadvantages in the sports industry.
Oh my god, guys! Have you heard of this drug that has become so popular nowadays? Apparently, it makes you physically stronger, so I asked my friend to get me some because sports day is around the corner.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, beta blockers, right? My dad told me about it.
Why are you guys talking about drugs? And more importantly, how do you know what beta blockers are?
Oh my god, have you been living under a rock your whole life? Taking drugs makes you look cool.
Cool, but it's summer.
Ha ha ha! Wow, so funny!
Haha, I know, right?
The point being is, are you willing to sacrifice your well-being for the sake of satisfying your need to be cool?
Well, duh!
Well, that's not good.
Do you even know the side effects of using drugs in sports?
What else do I need to know other than the fact that it could possibly help me win all my sports events?
Yeah, and you could also become the house captain.
Okay, but the house captain needs to be in top physical condition, and drugs do the opposite of that.
Well, who cares about that? The only thing that matters is that I win my events on sports day.
Do you guys even know how dangerous drugs can be?
No.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
Don't forget about me, I'm here too.
Okay, so I'll tell you the basics. Anabolic steroids contain a hormone known as testosterone, which does enhance muscle power.
But it results in countless problems such as poor self-esteem, higher rates of depression, and higher rates of eating disorders as well as substance use.
Wait, but aren't drugs like penicillin and antibiotics used for healing purposes in sports?
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes athletes suffer from chronic pain and thus they become dependent on them to escape the pain, and it's actually helpful.
That is true, but it can also ruin the reputation of athletes because, they rely on illegal drugs to enhance their capabilities instead of working hard to succeed.
Yeah, and yesterday I read that a Jamaican sprinter and track star, Asafa Powell, was caught using the banned stimulant oxyloprine in 2013, which ruined his reputation.
But you need to keep in mind that the youth who is striving for perfect grades or to perform athletically in high school is vulnerable to drugs.
Not only this, but I read that stimulants and drugs can improve endurance and reduce fatigue, so isn't that good for us?
I admit that it may be good for the athletes, but the risks of using drugs outweigh their benefits.
Yep, did you know that steroid misuse is actually associated with muscle dysmorphia, a behavioral disorder in which men think that they look small and weak even if they are large and muscular?
Oh please, I'm pretty sure barely any athletes use steroids anyways.
That's not true. A cross-sectional study was conducted throughout various gyms across Rawalpindi and Islamabad in Pakistan from November of 2013 to May of 2014.
And a total of 310 bodybuilders between the ages of 15 to 35 were interviewed. Guess what the result was?
I'm guessing 10% of the bodybuilders were using steroids.
Surprisingly, 64% reported past or present use of anabolic steroids.
Wait, but I'm pretty sure most of them didn't even know what steroids do to one's body.
Actually, more than 72% of all the bodybuilders had the knowledge that steroids are harmful for their health.
That's because most of the time athletes are put under pressure even at high school level. They may feel pressure to overachieve in sports, so they rely on the power of drugs.
What most teens don't know is that drugs and performance-enhancing steroids have harmful side effects. It's important to be aware of the long-term health effects of drugs and steroid abuse.
But in my opinion, using drugs to cheat in sports is not new, but it is becoming more effective. In 1976, the East German swimming team did win 11 out of 13 Olympic events.
So, steroid misuse is not only prevalent in Pakistan?
No, actually, it's pretty common throughout the globe.
Come to think of it, I did hear on the news that in the US, athletes receive comprehensive treatment and rehabilitation for physical injuries, but this may be less often the case for mental illness, because sometimes mental illness is viewed as a sign of weakness.
My dad told me once that anabolic steroids and opiates are used by 9% and 52% of the professional football players. 71% of which is misused at some point in their careers, and also 7% of high school students over the past year were using cannabis.
Even in Gauteng, South Africa, a survey was carried out from which 3.9% of 346 athletes admitted to using drugs, and more than 14% of them said that they would consider using it if they knew that they would not get caught.
Furthermore, ambition and emotional pressure were the primary reasons why the athletes would consider using prohibited performance-enhancing drugs. Only 42.1% of the athletes felt that they were well informed.
But still, the use of drugs is not all bad, as sometimes legalizing PEDs would make life much easier for professional sports organizations. Major League Baseball has strict limits on stimulants like ephedrine and methamphetamine, but no restrictions on caffeine use.
Not only this, but athletes are also barred from human growth hormone, which helps with injury recovery, but they have free use of muscle-building drug called creatine. Legalized PEDs would also help to avoid the murky area of deciding what might be too enhancing.
But you guys do have a point. The use of drugs is actually harmful for our bodies.
Now that I know the harmful side effects of drugs on our bodies, I'm reconsidering buying that drug my friend told me about. I should probably discourage my friend from buying it too.
I'm so glad that you guys finally understand.
Oh, you guys, it just came to my mind that the proper term for using drugs in sports is doping, most probably because I think using drugs is dope.
And that is how the discussion came to an end. To conclude, all four friends finally agreed that using drugs is harmful for us and that it is not dope at all.